Alright guys, and we're back. Sorry to interrupt those funky rhymes, but it is time for the grand finals of the ESL, or pardon me, the ESL Go4GuildWars2 Weekly Cup for North America. This is Cup number 12. And again, I'm Grouch, and I'm joined by Mr. Moa. Thanks for joining us today, sir. Thanks for stepping in. A little bit of a last-minute thing here, but we pulled it off.
Yeah, we certainly did.
We made it to the finals. We started at the bottom, and now we're slightly above the bottom. So, anyway, so the next game here is going to be the grand finals. We've got the Abjurd, surprise there, versus the Denkening. So, yeah, it's going to be some interesting matches here. And so I guess we're going to jump into the game here and take a look at some of the builds, and we'll let these boys battle it out.
Yeah, sure. So, for the Abjurd, we have 5 Gorge on the Celestial Rifle Engineer. He's playing Slick Shoes as his stunt drag. Yeah, so nothing really interesting with the build. I guess everybody has seen this build.
So we're starting off with 5 gauge here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
the build so far, I guess.
the only thing that's different about his build than from other Selly Engies is the fact that he's running Rune of the Pack. Generally, you would see Runes of the Hullbrack, or you would see Runes of Strength. And the main thing that's going to be different about this is that he doesn't have the Might duration. So it's a bit harder for him to maintain Might stacks. And he's going to have the passive from the number 4 passive, right? Will give him some Might and Fury and Swiftness, which is pretty decent, about 50% uptime. But it doesn't have as much Might durations as you would in other builds. So it's kind of a newer choice, but it does pretty well.
Yeah. Then we have Magic Toka, who is, I guess, one of the best known thieves in NA. And he's sticking to the Sword Dagger, it seems.
Yep, no surprises there. We'll pull up the build real quick here. So he's running the old 20066 build, being a little bit more defensive. There's a couple of variants that you can run with this build here, but this is the one he's been running for a long time. Does pretty well. I mean, he did go to China and play it, so you know, I guess it's decent, you could say. Moving on.
He's not the worst ever, I guess.
Yeah, he's all right. I mean, on a scale of 1 to I'm not gonna go there. Too much troll. Okay, so coming in next, we've got Nos, and Nos is running the 06404 build, which is kind of Nos's mainstay here. Really great +1. We talked about this a little bit earlier today. Is that the main thing he can do in a team is run into fights that are already going, like in a 1v1 or 2v2 situation, find the weakest target, whether it comes down to who's got the lowest health, who's got the weakest condition removal, going in and just bursting that guy down with condies, who's presumably already wasted a couple cooldowns for, you know, in whatever led up to that moment. This allows Nos to come in and just do immediate damage, get someone in down state here. He's also got pretty good escape abilities, running Flesh Form there. He's got Spectral Walk. He might get caught out if he has a bad start of the game here, like we talked about earlier today, if he's not able to build up Death Shroud, but Nos is a pretty good Necromancer, and he can recover from those moments. Obviously, running Plague Form here as well is going to allow him to either do some clutch reses at times, maybe some stomps, or just play very defensively if need be.
Yeah, one thing to note maybe is that he's running Residual of Doom on his staff. I think he does that from time to time, or sometimes you see him with Frailty there, but nothing too important, I guess. And then we have Phantom on the Elementalist. He's running the Dagger Celestial build. No surprises here, I guess. I guess everybody who watches any Guild Wars 2 tournaments has seen this build a couple of hundred of times so far.
I mean, this is the guy that you want to watch to run it, though. Like, Phantom is, he's been in LA for as long as I can remember, and definitely pushes the profession to new limits, to new levels. And if you want to see someone play the class correctly, it's going to be Phantom.
Yeah,
assuming he doesn't get
this build correctly, you can watch Wake, whatever.
Wakey.
Because he's running the same.
Waka Waka. Waka Waka Waka. Okay, so Wakey running the exact same mirror build here as Phantom. They serve a little bit different roles here. Phantom will generally push into 1v1 situations on far node. Where you'll see Wakey is a great team fighter. If you ever hear people talk about Wakey, it's that he's always in team fights, always doing great work there. He's really great at doing peels. He's great at popping off heals just to support allies. Great player in general, but definitely much more focused on team fights, whereas Phantom is more of their designated side point skirmisher or 1v1er.
Yeah.
All right, and then looks like who are we missing here? No, that's everyone. They don't have a 6-man. Don't worry, they're not like the Seahawks. All right, so moving over, we got again we've seen them all day today. So we got the Denkening, who've done amazingly today, taking out DoD and Elusive. in pretty decisive games there. So we've got Rocktree starting out here. He's going to be running a fairly similar build to everyone else here. Pretty much exactly what you're going to see coming out of Chafe. The big difference being that he's running that Rune of Holbrak rather than the Rune of the Pack, which is going to provide him a little bit more might duration. And a little bit of Condi duration, little negative Condi condition duration is applied to him as well, so it's going to make him a bit stronger versus Nos. Being able to post Condis off a little bit sooner. That's one place that Engineer is kind of weak, is the fact that they don't have a lot of Condi removal outside of Healing Turret, and so being able to mitigate that as much as possible is not a bad call.
Yeah, and actually the Celestial Engineer has not that bad of a matchup versus Necros in the 1v1 anymore. I mean, it's still better for the Necro, but not nearly as bad as the Condition Engineer has it. So it's actually a winnable matchup for the Engineer as long as he has his Elite up.
Alright, coming into Ozzy here, so we've got the Warrior, which is the only Warrior in the match, and he's got that amazing res banner, right, so which can absolutely turn the team fights here. He's going to be running Rune of the Soldier, which is going to give him a little AoE Connie cleanse for his allies as well. Pretty decent 1v1er. I think Ozzy's going to have a hard time with 1v1s versus this team, to be honest. These guys are all very, very experienced 1v1ers. Like, if the Absurd is not playing in tournament matches, right, if they're not playing in tournaments on the weekends and they're not playing in Team Q, these guys are in custom arenas dueling all day long. Like, that's what these guys shine, is their mechanical, individual skill, and, they just happen to be good at team fighting as well. So, I think Ozzy might have a hard time today here with this build, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah. A note to that build, like, in EU we see a lot of warriors now dropping Fear Me for On My Mark, just because it's a shout with really low cooldown to get all the secondary effects from trades and runes. Maybe you guys will see that on NA soon too, or maybe you will stick to the Fear Me. Time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on to Uratine, Yura the Ranger. We've got, so we talked about this before, we've watched him a bit today. He's running a Longbow, Greatsword Ranger, which means he's going to go in for that big Damahe, and he's certainly capable of delivering that Damahe as well. Like, he does a lot of damage with that Longbow, especially from maximum range. He's got Read the Wind, which is going to give him, probably not Read the Wind, he's got Eagle Eye, which is going to give him 1500 range on his attacks. So if there's a map with a lot of verticality, he can definitely take advantage of that and just kind of rain down death from above. And it's really going to really come down to the enemy team recognizing where Yura is at and just training him down, preventing him from putting that damage out. Kind of the same situation with the Necromancer, to be honest.
Yeah, and Ranger is also one of the professions that has a projectile range attack, so the range is actually higher than the tooltip says, because the projectile doesn't just despawn at the end of it. So if you are on a higher ground, you actually have more range, a little bit at least, than the tooltip says.
Alright, coming into Frank Underwood. He's running the same build as Wakey and Phantoram here, so he's going to be very, this is a great all-around build, right? Like, the great team fighters are great 1v1ers, great supporters, so expect great things to come out of this guy here, but he's got a lot of competition to go up to. Obviously, Phantoram and Wakey, great players, and probably one of the strongest elementals on NA that we've got right now, so he's got big shoes to fill. And then coming down to the only Mesmer in today's match, we've got Subcutie. Also, maybe you could say Magic Toker Food. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out here, but Toker's definitely going to be training down Subcutie the entire game here. He's going to be running not the Portal Mesmer like I keep saying he will be, because I'm just not reading his traits, or pardon me, his utilities, but he's going to be running double range Shatter build, which is probably a good call for him here. Going to try to play, again, just like your team, playing from those high points, using verticality to his advantage here, and is trying to avoid as much damage as possible.
Yeah, and she's also running with a mass invisibility. It would maybe be a possibility to switch to Moa here against all the Celestial builds to be able to get a quick kill. But then they would lose their stealth, which basically the only stealth they have is him.
Yeah,
so
we saw Zero Miss running Mass Invis as well for his elite, and it gave some great. You can use it for engaging, you can use it for escaping as well, but like the Moa provides such potential for big plays. Like if you can get an early Moa onto an Elementalist, like especially Wakey when he's standing on that midpoint, which I'm sure where he's I'm not going to call that because I'll probably be wrong, because that always seems to be the case, but whoever's going mid, if you can get that early Moa on them and just completely remove them from the game, that's going to give you such an advantage in that mid fight. Obviously, the long cooldown on it is going to, it feels bad if you miss it, so, having Massive is a bit safer, a bit more dependable.
Yeah, and by the way, we saw Nos going for the Flash Worm at the start to get his 10% life force to just be able to go into that shot. And now we got Phantom with Engage on Henge together with Magic Toka and 5 gauge. But, well, blue team already has 4 people here to defend, so it's a 4 versus 3 in favor of the Denkening.
Yeah, so the Abjur's actually fighting uneven numbers right now. We've got Nos coming in. He got that home cap there. He's going to be sweeping into the midpoint here. He's got the flesh room down. He's going to try to get that burst combo onto Frank Underwood here. Just try to get that early damage going out. He's going to land that dark path. He's going to start applying those conditions here. Every time he blinds that dark path, it's also going to rip boons off of Frank Underwood. So it's definitely a bad situation for him here. Nos maybe trying to train him down. Frank Underwood's going to have to disengage. So we've already got a full cap going into the midpoint here for Wakey. Over here on Henge side, though,
should be able to defend the mine versus the alley for quite some time here.
Over here on Henge side, though, we did see that was 5 gauge getting taken out in roads there. So we've got Ozzy and Fanaram in a 1v1 here. Fanaram clearly in the lead right now in this 1v1, but we have Yuri team coming in, going to try to get some damage onto Fanaram. Fanaram's going to go ahead and try to disengage here, so we should see a full cap going on to Henge side. Well, I take that back. Fanaram's going to troll around a bit here, coming back onto the node. We still got Euro staying here. This is valuable time, right? That Fanaram's just trolling this team completely.
Oh, and we got the decap on mid. That was a really, really nice pull coming out of Rocketry here.
Yeah, Rocketry's been doing really good work today. Like, I'm really impressed. You know, we always tend to focus on people like Backpack and Osterjags and Chafe when it comes to NA players, but Rocketry has been doing work today. And, you know, some of those players that we just mentioned that were doing really well, he actually beat out in 1v1s, like Backpack and Osterjags. Like, he did phenomenal against those guys.
Yeah, Noskok just had to use both his stun tracks on mid to stay alive, and now also had to use his Plague, so all defensive cooldowns of him are no-go.
He's coming into Wakey here. We see Wakey putting the Earthquake down onto Rocketry there. Actually had the gear shield up, though, so it's wasted cooldown. He's going to try to get support going on to Nos, though. We got... Nos is in a bad spot, man. It really comes down to how much Death Shrouds he's going to have when he comes out of this here. Looks like he's got a little bit of a bar. He's going to try to get that heal off. Able to get it off, actually, in the middle of everyone, which is kind of surprising. That had been really, really easy to get a quick knockback there. Interrupt that heal. He's got a lot of connies going on to him now.
He's going down now.
There we go. Your team coming in for that cleave damage. Wakey trying to get that res off. The updraft coming out, knocking Wakey off that res. A lot of cleave coming on to Nos now. Your team also in downstate. If they can get Nos out, your team is going to rally. There we go. So it's actually a pretty good trade there at the mid fight. They did pretty well. In terms of the Denkening, that is.
Yeah, but the Ranger is now going down, and yeah, this might be a stomp coming through. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 5 gauge coming in. He's going to put the cleave onto the body. Yeah. So nothing they can really do about Euro going down. So a little bit of an even trade there, but we do have 1 cap for each team right now. The Abjurd currently ahead about 50 points, but it's still not a lot considering how early into the game we are right now.
And Subduty is getting a bit caught out in between nodes here. Yeah, and it's not awesome.
Yeah, Subcutie, he's got Toker on him right now. A lot of connies going on to him right now from Nos as well. Toker coming in, gonna get the kill onto Subcutie, putting him in the downstate here. Ozzy's in range, maybe a banner coming out. There's the banner coming out onto Subcutie. He's gonna get back up here, try to disengage. He's still dangerously low though. He's putting damage out from the ledge here. His heal's coming up here in just one moment. He should be okay for the time being. There we go. It's actually a good play there from Ozzy coming in supporting Subcutie and kind of looked like a disastrous situation.
Yeah, and we have Phantom with a decap on Henge in a second here.
There we go, Fancy using that Fire Greatsword for the mobility there, getting that full decap. We got Ozzy coming in, going to try to keep that node neutralized here. He's got the Savage Leap, which gives him pretty good mobility, pretty decent reaction time coming in on the node here, but they're going to be here all day long.
Yeah, I don't see anyone really dying fast in that match.
Yeah, that's going to come down to who has the +1.
We still have a 4 versus 4 going, and this fight is just not really ending. Rocketry now in downstate, the rest is started, but doesn't look like it will come through here.
Yeah, Franklin went in for that res there. He was getting some pretty good res ticks off on him, but the updraft came out, knocking him out of the range there. So it looks like he's going to get cleaved out here. Subcutie in a dangerous position here as well. Frank Underwood swapping into water, trying to provide support to Subcutie. Subcutie's going to go down here. I don't believe Frank's got anything for him either. He's going to bail out, move over here towards mine side, and try to get a decap there. It looks like no one's going to be around to prevent that either.
Yeah, and with a fight on mid going the way of Absurd, Nos just disengaged and went to Henge, where he went down for a second, but he got rested by Phantom. Now he's up again, and, well, the Ranger now in quite a bit of problems.
Yeah, like I said before, it's going to really come down to who gets the +1s faster, right? Like, we said Ozzy and Phantom facing off there. It's going to be an endless fight, but we had good rotations coming in from the Abjurd, able to take him down. Noskok actually getting dangerously low here. Rocketry is trying to get some damage on that body. Maybe 5 gauge coming in, getting knocked back onto Rocketry. Here goes the from the fear from Nos in downstate, and I believe Rocketry is going to get just eaten alive here. 5 gauge coming in with that stomp there. Actually going to knock him off the point there. Phantom coming with the updraft. That's just going to bleed him out, which is going to be an additional 30 seconds or so on his res time, which is going to be brutal.
Yeah, and we might see a chieftain now. Yeah, I guess we would just take him. He's pulled anyways.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I didn't actually get to catch that fight there, but your team tanking chieftain and downstate there, letting the Absurd come in, get that free kill on Yura and the free kill on the boss, popping down that WTS banner there as well. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty decisive so far here. You know, it's only 150 points ahead right now for the Absurd, but like these fights are engaging in right now are just so decisive in their favor that I don't know what is the Naked need to do right now. How do they come back?
Well, it's really, really hard, because as soon as Subduty gets anywhere near a fight, he immediately has Toka on him, and shortly after he has Nos as well, so he just dies again. And his team can't really cover for him well. So...
yeah, Ozzy getting to that midpoint there, trying to get the decap. He's got Toker coming in, going to try to troll the node here. Ozzy's just going to bail out. He knows that he can't really hold... like, Toker's got a lot of damage, right? He's got a lot of evades. It's not a decap that Ozzy's going to be able to get in anytime soon.
yeah, Toka has quite a bit of damage with the double sigil procs, and he can just wait for days. So, basically, there's nearly nothing Subduty can do to self-peel versus him. Yeah, now we have Nos... Phantom on Henge.
Yeah, it's looking a little bleak for Phantom,
he's
maybe.
Pulling him off node, and now there's Wacky.
Oh yeah, we got Wacky sitting, waka sitting on node right now, getting that full cap there. Frank sees it though; he's gonna ride the lightning back on the point here, try to keep it neutralized as long as possible. That was a pretty good play by Fanta and Wakey though. Like that was definitely clearly called out. Like, hey, I'm gonna pull him off node. You stand on point. Let's get this point. Let's get the node in our possession.
Yeah, and now we have a big team fight over on mine. Nos in quite a bit of problems. He doesn't have any of his cooldowns anymore, and he got quite a bit of damage, but he managed to disengage over the high ground. Nice jumping from him here.
Yeah, Rocketry's getting really low here. We do have a little bit of damage coming on the Nos right now. He's got a pretty decent amount of health once he pops out of that dash route, so I think he's going to be relatively okay for now. He's actually getting a little bit of burning on him right now. He's going to try to transfer that off, which he does. And about 3 seconds left on his heal here. He's going to get knocked down by Yura, interrupting the... actually, didn't go for the heal yet. He's actually probably safe now, because Yura knocked him down in the pit there, able to get his heal off without any threat from the Ranger.
Yeah, and we got Subduty in the 1v1 versus Phantom on mid. Wasn't really going his way, so he had to disengage here again. And we still have the 1v1 over on Henge with Wacky here versus Frank and now Rocketry.
Now, so we see Absurd in the finals every single week, right? Like they pretty much know they're coming into the finals every week that they come in. What do teams in North America, maybe teams in EU even, because like these guys are pretty dominant, right? And they took WTS. Like, what do teams need to do to actually beat these guys? Does it come down to comp? Does it come down to the actual players themselves? Like, are these guys just that much better than everyone else? Like, what's the secret?
I think a lot of it will come down to team play and rotations. Once two teams are at this really high level, then basically everything is rotations.
Mm-hmm. So these guys are just rotating the nodes. They're picking better fights, right? Like they're going and having Phantom. I mean, even the skill on the nodes, right? Like watching Phantom fight those 1v1s, those 1v2s, but just instead of just bailing out completely, just trolling the players around the node. Like it's just it's really great play. So I'm a little torn. Like I think they definitely have something different than other teams. It doesn't come down to just rotations. Like they've got something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and I have to admit I don't really know how EU will be doing in the next WTS, because we have TCG basically breaking down at the moment with 3 of their players now missing because they are moving over to Cheese Mode from what I can tell. Then Cheese Mode had to take the 3 players from TCG because their players can't really attend because of the rules of age, and Hiba is from Canada so he can't play for them. And then we have the 55 HP monks, which basically just changed their lineup and the strategy they are playing, and they're having some problems at the moment. So I really don't know what's going to happen there. But yeah, with this game here we see that Rocketry got caught off between the nodes. Ozzy is in Urantium was here in downstate and got stomped out, so Absurd just in control of this game at the moment. Yeah,
I mean it's already too far gone. Like all they need is one boss. They could do any number of things to take this game all the way. So I think we're gonna have to look towards the next game here, which again, I think looking at it, I think I think Abjur's got the advantage. Like, not talking about the skill and like how much they win and stuff, but just like looking at the team composition, like having Toker again on that thief. Toker is absolutely on point when it comes to back caps. Like, the guy is always, he's got such great map awareness, knowing when to rotate in, when to rotate out, knowing when to get the full cap, knowing when to just stay and leave it, you know, forcing them to do a 4v5 as they go back and get that full cap there. Because, you know, it takes a lot longer to actually full cap a node than it does to decap, right? So the entire time that you've got a player standing there just capping that node, it's just time that you and your team are 4v5 on the rest of the map.
Yeah, and if you can't make anything out of that, then you're just losing points there.
Alright, as the players join up here again. So, I'm trying to think. There's got to be a chink in their armor somewhere. There's got to be something that teams can do against the Abjured here. Like, they're just so dominant in these finals. Every single week we see them here. And, you know, there's been times where they had, you know, some rougher experiences. Back when we had the Abjured and the Absurd, right, when they were playing constantly, when the roster was a little bit split up because the Abjured was a little bit focused on WTS. They still had Ostrich Eggs playing. There was some weeks where they kind of went back and forth, but now that they've moved Ostrich off the roster and they've got Backpack as joined other teams, like, players are kind of dispersing, right? We no longer have as many rosters that are just completely formed by like the elite of elite players. The Abjured is just taking every single week. So I saw someone in chat was saying that it comes down to practice time, and I think that's definitely a part of this here. I always see the Abjured on, you know, 1v1ing, 2v2ing, just scrimming as much as they can. And I think that level of dedication that they have is definitely a part of it as well.
Yeah, and one thing that basically we Abjured have here as a weak spot is basically in the Necromancer and team fights. If they can't just out-rotate the enemy team and they're just against a team that rotates on a equally good level, then the Necromancer can get focused out in team fights quite easily. But of course, the Abjured knows that, and they will cover for him as well. So yeah, it's not easy really playing versus that comp, I guess.
No, I mean, it's definitely hard. Like, we often hear that Necromancers aren't like greatly used in games, but it's because Necromancers are so reliant on their team. Like, they need peels, they need support, but if you can actually get a good Necromancer in your team who knows how to play the profession well and can, you know, has enough mechanical skill where they can avoid like the obvious things like getting ganked out by using Spectral Walk and their Flesh Room well and knowing when to pop Plague and whatnot, it's great, but you really need the support of your allies. You know, peels from 5 Gauge, peels from Wakey and Phantoram, Toker coming and giving peels as well, just allows Nos to kind of rain terror on the entire team here.
Yeah, and also Necromancers got hit probably the hardest by the pre-game buffing removal, because they now start with a 0 life force, which just takes away 5 of their skills at the start of the game.
Yeah, but like you said before, it comes down to whether or not they want to pop off the Flesh Room early start so they get that 10% so they can at least pop in, or if they feel like it's a better idea for them to just hold that as long as possible so they can actually use it in that first engagement. It is about a 40-second cooldown, right? So you can pop it early on, and you've got about 30 seconds you need to make up for, right? And a lot of that can be also attributed to travel time to nodes.
Yeah, if you pop it at the start, and you won't have it if there's an early fight at the node you're going to. But if you just can recap the node, then you will have it in your next engagement and you have the 10% from it. So it's just, you have to just think about what you want. Do you want the extra stun break, or do you want your 5 extra skills? And especially when you're running with 2 stun breaks like Perm and the Spectral Walk, then nearly all of the time it will be you want the 10%.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit easier on this map for the Necromancer as well. Like, if you're playing on Forest and you try to go for that early game cross, like, you're in each other's faces immediately at the start of the map, right? Like, right when you go on Beach, you're right there. On this map, you've got a lot more time where you can actually move around, because just the way the bases are positioned, like, you've got all the time you have to travel through your base just to get to the node. And I think that eats up a lot of that 30 seconds of time.
Yeah, and we see Nos going for his close again, like he did last time. So he has more time to get his worm back up until he gets into a fight. And you see Phantom going over to the far node, where he will be awaited by 3 stealth people, so a total of 4 guys.
Yeah, so Yeah, this is going to be rough. Like, oh, Phantom getting caught out in that burst combo. Ooh, that's impressive. He was able to pop that stability off. The magnet pull was ineffective, you could say. And, Subcutie's going to come in and try to just get that little damage onto Phantom, trying to keep him off that node there. They should get an early cap. Rocketry's still on point there, so if they can hold him off, that's going to be a great start here for the game. Alright, so yeah, they did get the full cap there.
Phantom still alive. He managed to disengage a bit from the fight and go back into it.
Now I got the mob off on the Rocketry. Rocketry's going to be able to get back into the node in no time, though. So it's going to be the 1v1 breaking out here between Phantom and Rocketry, which is going to be a close fight. It could be rough, but over here on the midpoint, we do have Ozzy on point currently with Wakey and 5-Gauge. Ozzy having to disengage off the point just because he's getting so low. 5-Gauge training him down all off the ledge here. Magitoker getting that poison down. 5-Gauge coming in for that stomp there. Gonna have the stability. The Refuge coming down just in time. Subcutie coming in, trying to get that res off. Quake coming down on the Subcutie is gonna prevent him from actually getting that res off there. So I believe they're just gonna let him burn here. Your team getting pulled into that mess as well. This is gonna be a dangerous moment right now for the team. We do get the rally coming out from Ozzy. He's gonna pop off his Vengeance. Maybe trying to go for that banner if your team drops down. I guess that can really be the only the logical assumption, right? Is that he's just trying to provide some support to his allies before he gets taken down again.
And we got the down and stomp on Frank in the middle, so the Absurd is taking the graveyard now and can now just put more pressure onto Waterfall and can just fall back if we want to, because we have the 2 cap. But we got the down on the thief here, so I think they will stay here.
And here's one of those good rotations we're talking about. We see Nos coming in, going to the midpoint here. He's going to guard home and mid, and we saw Wakey moving over here into Waterfall here. So it's just good calls by the Absurd, knowing when to send players, like knowing when you should disengage from a node, like, hey guys, I'm getting low. Rather than you guys supporting me with your heals and spending time rezzing me and preventing the stomp, I'm just going to disengage off the node. I'm going to try to grab someone else who's elsewhere on the map, and they'll rotate in. They're going to be full health. They're going to have all their cooldowns. It's really just a better way to run it.
Yeah, and the Absurd is now taking the pressure up to the base gates of the Dankening. We are already destroying the gate here to prepare for a Lord Rush maybe. And this just puts quite a lot of pressure on the Dankening, because now they won't get a warning before the Lord Rush.
Yeah, Toker doing making short work of the door there. You know, it never feels good when you have to get shoved back into your door by a player, and your team having to run in. We actually see a little bit of a side push coming out here. So we got your team, we got Rocketry, we got Frank Underwood coming over here onto mine side, but they've got Nos here as well. So this is actually a pretty good situation here right now for the Absurd, and we got more players coming in. Oh, is that a banner?
Going down here to Toka, and the banner had to be used for the rest of the thief.
You know, I don't know if that banner was actually needed there. I think that was kind of maybe a bit of a waste, because we had he was far enough away from the node that he was out of range of most of the team fight there, so I think they could have got off a really easy res there. And now that your team went down, they didn't have that banner available for him. Now that the team fight's kind of moving away from the node, out into roads here, which is a bit more dangerous. Had they gone for the res, I think they'd still be in the fight.
Going down again really, really fast. So, yeah, the blue team getting completely destroyed off node here.
Yeah, and this is, you know, we talked about DoD doing this a lot today too, but there are a lot of members from that team that played on the Absurd, so this could just be a strategy that these guys have kind of developed, and I would definitely say the Absurd are a bit better at executing it. Like, I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that statement.
Yeah, they are not just leaving all the nodes open all the time to fight for one node they don't have it for people. I mean, they lost the Waterfall now, but, well, there was not really any need to keep that node as well. So, yeah. And they got the another node for it, so I guess it just paid off.
Watching Fenrir just fight on far node this entire time, just trolling people constantly, you know, making good use of his cooldowns, just trying to stay alive on these nodes as long as possible. You definitely, oh, actually, your team coming in, there was I believe an updraft onto Fanaram, your team coming with that rapid fire from the ledge there, just drilling into Fanaram, taking him to downstate. Refuge with the help of Wakey, they're going to get Fanaram res back up almost immediately there, so a great team play there. Like, I think that's really what makes this team shine, it's the fact that they play together so much that they kind of know what each person's going to do in certain situations, like that immediate Shadow Refuge and the balling up of Rezzing was able to get Fanaram back in the game so quickly.
Yeah, and Phantom was holding that for so long that 1 versus 3 or 4 just turned into a 4 versus 4 here.
Alright, so your team finally getting flexed on.
Absurd could walk across the entire map to res Phantom up here.
Yeah. So your team actually drilling out into 5-gauge here, taking him into downstate all the way. We still got Phantom on the node though. You know, the blue team's holding it pretty strongly though. So I think the Absurd are actually going to pull out here finally for the first time in a long time, and they'll be moving back on that mid node. But again, this is a good call by them, knowing when they should actually be pulling out, right? And instead of engaging on those nodes is what makes them such a good team. They tried pulling out, Phantom actually getting taken out here, Nos going for that plague res.
With the plague res, will it work? Doesn't look like it at
well, not a lot of damage going on to him. Looks like he's actually going to get him up here. Nas still inside of that plague form. He's going to pop out, get that heal off, no problem. He's also got a dash right up here. A full bar of it, nonetheless. So there's still a good bit of survivability coming out from Nas right now.
Yeah, and that's the power of Necromancer if your team is doing good.
Yeah, like again, like you said before, it's one of the strongest, if not the strongest, snowballer that there is in Guild Wars 2. So if you have a good start of the game, you can kind of carry it onward. But if you have a rough start, then it just gets worse and worse.
We have 5-gauge going towards the Lord already. Well, okay, he's kiting a bit through the enemy base, not really going for Lord.
Brave.
But hey, it's something.
He's trying to spawn camp him. Yeah, so he's just going to use the ledge there to try to jump over the wall here and moving back over here. It looks like to far node. Well, no, he's kind of just playing around right now. They're kind of reconverging onto mid right here. We've got 5-gauge. We've got Nos kind of watching mid right now. Nos getting dangerously low, though, so 5-gauge might want... Well, it looks... You know, this is kind of dangerous right now for Nos because we got Quiprick McGee, sub-cutie coming in. Nos is kind of in a dangerous spot right now, so if he watches for it, he can get an easy gank on to Nos here. There we go. We got the... the fear coming out in the downstate almost right away here. 5-gauge going in for that...
5-gauge here as well, so it won't be easy to finish off Nos here, especially with the health he has left.
He almost had it, I thought, there. Like, I think I saw the stolen skill from the Necromancer get used, pushing 5-gauge off of that res there, but a fear went out, I believe, from Nos onto sub-cutie, which pushed him off of the cleave damage.
Yeah. And now we have, like, the entire fight over at the blue close node. And Absurd can just, like, fight this for as long as they want to. And they are so far ahead by now that it doesn't really matter what they are doing.
Yeah, only about 30 points to go here. Kind of an anticlimactic final here. The Absurd, most dominant team in NA, showing what they're made of yet again for the, what is it, the 5th week straight or something like that, 6 weeks straight. I mean, they've been, again, when there was the Absurd, they kind of had a little, they'd go back and forth, but since WTS ended, these guys have been, I think, winning every single cup, and they've just been completely dominant. 7 points to go, so that's gonna be game 2 going to these guys. It's gonna be a clean 2-0 sweep with the with Dinkening barely breaking 150 points there. So well played to the Absurd, and I'm sure we'll continue to see them week after week. So we're looking forward to seeing them next week as well. And I guess the big challenge for the rest of the NA teams is to find a way to break these guys.
Yeah, or to just accept that they can't break them and try to take the 2nd place.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing wrong with 2nd place. It's not 1st place, but no big deal, right? Aim low and climb your way up.
Better than nothing, at least.
Yes, well said. So anyways, guys, that was the ESL Go4GuildWars2 Weekly Cup number 12 for North America. And again, a big thank you to Mr. Moa here for jumping in and helping us out. Normally you shoutcast in German, so I know English is a bit, it's unexplored territory, right?
Yeah, also shoutcasting in English on NA.
So I'll join you guys on the German cast. How's that sound?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool guys. Well, again.
Fine.
Anyways, guys, thanks for watching once again. So we'll be here again next weekend for the EU and North American Cup, and then on February 4th we'll have the monthly finals, which should be interesting, especially considering all the trades and the swaps going on in EU right now. And then on February 7th, we'll have the WTS qualifier, where the team that wins that will be moving on to the WTS finals in Boston on March 7th. And as a refresher for that, there will be one EU team going to attend the WTS finals in Boston. But in North America, there'll be 2. So we've got 2 teams from North America that'll be opting to go there. So the Invitational should be quite interesting because there's quite a bit on the line there at the end.
Yeah, and I guess it makes sense to go for 2nd place on NA here.
Yeah, aiming for 2nd place is not bad, man. You get a free trip to Boston, you get free airfare, hotel, a little bit of spending money, and plus you're gonna get some money no matter what, as long as you qualify, right? Because there's a prize money all the way down to 4th.
Still have a chance of winning versus China or EU, or even just getting an unexpected victory over the Absurd as well.
Yeah. Alright guys, well again, thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week. Oh, Ready Up comes back on January 30th, so if you love listening to me drone on for like a good 30 minutes or so, you should join us on January 30th right on this channel. And also, as an aside, on January 24th, definitely check in to this channel to see what all the fuss is about with Heart of Thorns. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. Anyways, guys, we'll see you next time. Again, I'm Grouch, and this is Moa. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.